So in this video, I'm going to talk about Dexter Season 2, Episode 5, entitled See Through. Quite a few things happen in this episode, which are very interesting in regards to the Bay Harbor Butcher and things getting closer to Dexter. Dexter also starts to form a relationship with Lila, his sponsor, and things get a little crazy with Rita when her mom shows up to visit. So let's get this review started. All right, so there's a little bit of an interesting storyline here with Lila and Dexter's sponsor. They get kind of close. She takes him out. Well, not out on a date, but they end up going out, driving around, and she ends up stealing some stuff for some of her art. She does art, some unconventional art, and Dexter's kind of intrigued by that. Isn't comfortable with her stealing stuff, but still goes along for the ride. And towards the end of this episode, she actually gives him a kiss as she's driving off, thinking she's a good influence on him. At the same time, we've got Rita. Obviously, she does have the right to be kind of, skeptical, or not skeptical, but weary of this whole sponsorship with this girl, Lila. But her mom shows up and tries to shame Rita in having a relationship with Dexter, which doesn't go over very well with Rita. And there'll be more in regards to their relationship coming up in the next episode. So for the Bay Harbor Butcher in this episode, we've got some interesting things that happened. Dexter ends up finding out that Masuka has something that could break the case wide open. And Dexter thinks this has to do with all the bodies that they have. So he does something in the middle of the night to break the cooling line to where they have the bodies so that they all melt. Well, he thinks that's going to take them off the case. Well, actually, that's not what Masuka found. Actually, Masuka found some algae that could lead back to the Bay Harbor Butcher. So Dexter's a little worried about that because he does, weigh down his bodies using some rocks. And we'll find out more about that in the next episode. So there's not a whole lot that really happens in this episode other than a lot of speculation on Dexter's part on how they're trying to close in on him and him wondering what that actually is. And so you got a few storylines going on. There's also some interesting things going on with Lundy and with Deborah as well. They kind of form a little bit of a relationship and talk back and forth about boyfriends and going out on dates and that sort of a thing. And Deborah does decide to go back and visit with the guy who tried to help her the first time in the gym when she was there and she freaked out. She goes back and they end up having wild sex together in Dexter's apartment, and Dexter actually catches them. And before they end up doing the deed, she ends up handcuffing this guy to the bed, and he's like, wow, this is a little forward. And she's like, yeah, well, the last guy I had sex with tried to kill me. So there was a lot of little story threads going on in this episode. We just had a little bit to do with the Bay Harbor Butcher. That's going to ramp up in coming episodes. But again, we're starting to lead to the middle of the season where things are going to kind of cool down a little bit and then kind of jam back up again towards the end. So that's where we leave in this episode. We've got Dexter still worried about the whole algae thing and where that's going to lead. We'll find that out in the next episode. We've got Lundy and we've got Deborah kind of closing in. We've got Dexter's relationship with Lila, and we've got Rita and her mom. All of these things are going to come to a head in the next episode. So there's my recap on Dexter Season 2, Episode 4, entitled See Through.